everyone, and welcome back to Woman2Woman. Well, I'm really enjoying studying Be Anxious for Nothing by Max Lucado with you at Woman2Woman. How's your week been? Have you been putting into practice some of the tools that God has shared with us in recent weeks from the book of Philippians chapter 4? Like rejoicing in the Lord always, letting our gentleness be evident to all, and reminding ourselves when those anxious thoughts come at us that the Lord is near, that He is close by, that He is sovereign and in control. Well, today we turn to verse 6, which says, "Be anxious for nothing. Instead, pray about everything. With thanksgiving, present your requests to God." And we looked at the subject of prayer. Well, last week we talked about a storm that the disciples were caught up in and how Jesus remained calm within the boat. Well, today in the book of Matthew chapter 14, we discover that the disciples are caught in yet another storm. Now, these were experienced fishermen. They knew of the dangers at sea. They'll have seen and heard of bodies that perhaps have been washed up at sea after a storm. So they knew the dangers of it. And in that boat that night, as the storm raged against them, they were afraid. They were anxious. And coming towards them on the sea was Jesus. And that frightened them at first as well, as they didn't know, was it a ghost? Who was it? There's someone walking on the sea, on the water. But Jesus comes to them and says, "It's I. Come. Do not be afraid. Have courage." And you know, Peter, in that moment, he fixes his eyes on Jesus and not on his anxiety. And he gets out the boat and he starts to walk towards Jesus. But the wind gets up and the waves start to roar, and that anxiety starts to creep in again, as it does. And he starts to sink. Because when we allow the anxiety to race through our mind and our heart, it can cause us to just become paralysed, that we can't move, and we may feel like we're starting to sink. But today we looked at that tool that God has given us of prayer, and we have to present our requests to God. And in this passage of scripture, Peter says 3 words: Lord, save me. It's not a big long-winded prayer. It's not got lots of religious words in it. It's just very simple. Lord, save me. And Jesus reaches down and lifts him out the water. What are you struggling with today? Are you battling with anxiety and stress? Are there toxic thoughts running through your mind that are causing you to be paralysed, that you can't breathe, that you can't move forward? Well, Jesus is saying today, take courage. Do not be afraid. I am with you. Call out to him. Pray to him. He also says, with thanksgiving, thank him. Thank him that he's here. Thank him that he's given you this amazing tool. So be anxious for nothing. Instead, call out to Jesus. It doesn't need to be a long-winded prayer. Just tell him like it is. Lord, save me. Lord, help me. Lord, help me to hear you louder than any other voice that I hear in my mind, so that I have your peaceful thoughts, so that I have your loving thoughts towards me, rather than these anxious, fearful ones. Tune in next time. Until then, God bless.